What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. This is Legitical Response, and we got some more debates coming in. I got Mehdi Hasan, and, you know, the blatant hypocrisy coming from these people. They refuse to admit that they're wrong outright, but they'll go on to say something that sounds absolutely reasonable, and then get a little bit further into the debate, and all of a sudden, they're just going back on what they just said, and they're trying to defend their positions, and, you know, comparing Trump to Hitler is quite insane to me, and that's what they love to do. And then they'll get around comparing Trump to Hitler by saying, no, Trump is quoting Hitler. What, you don't want me to say that Trump is quoting Hitler? He used 6 freaking words. But let's get into the debate right quick and see what the hell's going on with this. Some blatant hypocrisy, to say the least.
Question about violence, but since we sidetracked, a jury of his peers convicted him. Back to this. On the rhetoric, I wish I didn't have to compare Donald Trump to Hitler. But when he quotes the lines from Mein Kampf, as a journalist...
Come on, Mehdi.
As a journalist, should I not point out that?
You shouldn't compare him to Hitler, because he's not Hitler.
Okay, so what should I do? So I'm a journalist. Donald Trump says immigrants are poisoning our blood. I go look in history who's the only person who said that, Hitler. Should I not tell my viewers on Piers Morgan Uncensored? Should I go, can't tell them that?
No, you can
should I say?
You can say he shouldn't use language like that.
Can I say he's quoting Adolf Hitler?
You can't say he's the new Hitler.
I haven't called him the new Hitler.
Right.
I've never called him the new Hitler.
So you accept the people who
but
say
I'm allowed.
that.
But you say I'm allowed to say he's quoting Hitler.
You can, if he uses a direct sentence, which you can chart back to.
It's almost directly the same.
That's
yes.
absolutely fair enough. But the idea that there is any comparison between Trump
no,
and
of course not. Hitler is Hitler. We know that.
Is appalling.
Hitler is Hitler.
Do you agree it's appalling?
No, but I want to qualify what you're saying. Hitler,
you agree it's appalling.
What is appalling?
To compare him to Hitler.
To compare him to Hitler, in what sense, though?
They're calling him the new Hitler.
Yes, and no, don't call him the new Hitler.
Is that appalling?
Oh my God, I'm not playing the silly game.
Give me a word.
I don't want you put words about.
Give me a condemnatory word.
I think it's not accurate to say he's the new Hitler because Hitler killed 12 million people. Yeah, it's not true.
Not offensive.
But if you let me finish the sentence, I speak to a lot of fascism scholars, people like Ruth Ben-Ghiat, Jason Stanley. A lot of people say that there is an analogy between what Trump is doing in America now and what happened in places like Germany in the 20s and 30s.
No, right there.
I respect your opinion. I respect your opinion that you don't think it is.
Well, give me an example.
I'm not having that argument right now. I'm trying to make a separate point, which is if fascism scholars are saying we look at history and we make comparisons, they are scholars of fascism and they're saying, hey, hold on, the rhetoric is very similar. The way they're operating is very similar. That is it. That, first of all, free speech, they should be allowed to say that. You used to be the free speech champion.
I am.
And then you sit there regulating everyone's speech.
I'm not
saying it's appalling.
I'm not regulating. No, I'm asking you.
You literally just told me.
Call
it appalling.
That's not regulating what you're saying. It's asking you, can you bring it in yourself to condemn people who say he's the new Hitler?
I don't know who those people are. J.D. Vance called him the new Hitler, and he's his running mate. So take it up with J.D. Vance.
Condemn him as well.
Call him on your show.
But you condemn anyone on the left who uses it too, right?
Uses what, though?
Who says he's the new Hitler? Specifically.
Those specific words, the new Hitler, yes.
Okay.
Is he speaking like Hitler? Yes, he is. Okay. And that should be condemned. Do you condemn him speaking like Hitler?
Yes.
Does that not outrage you?
Of course.
He's like your pal. Why don't you tell him to stop it?
Of course.
Have you ever told him to stop quoting Hitler?
Yes, probably. I can't remember the last interview I did was before or after, but if I do again, I will. Yes, of course.
Good. And hosting a Holocaust dinner at Mar-a-Lago?
But yes, Nick Fuentes, absolutely.
Have you told him to stop doing that?
I said it on Twitter to him. Don't let white supremacists anywhere near you. Why are you doing that?
No, that's not condemnation. That's a question.
I think it's condemn it. It's disgusting.
It's appalling.
It's appalling.
Good.
We're in
agreement.
You're trying to regulate my speech?
I love when we agree.
You know, it's funny. He says, oh, don't play these silly games. Well, hang on. Well, then what's the point of saying he's quoting Hitler if you're not comparing him to Hitler? Like, what are you trying to say here? Oh, he used 6 words that Hitler used? Like, come on now. We translate everything Hitler said from German to English. I'm sure Mehdi Hasan himself has used more than 6 words than Hitler used. It's like, come on, this is ridiculous. You're actually comparing him to Hitler, and this is damaging to the country. People are trying to assassinate this man. But what's funny about this, the blatant hypocrisy, is just before that little 3-minute exchange they just had, he just got through saying this.
I wish we didn't have to raise the rhetoric. I agree with you to a point that if you say certain things about certain people, of course I do. I'm on the left. I think if you dehumanize people, I'm the one who says migrant attacks because of Trump's rhetoric. So I would be a hypocrite if I didn't say that rhetoric leads to things. Yes, of course it does. I'm not one of these free speech absolutely says, words have no feeling, sticks and no, words lead to actions, words lead to violence, clearly. So yes, in any scenario where we can dial down any incitement of violence, completely agree. I get very uncomfortable, for example, at now Democratic rallies, people are shouting, lock him up, which I don't agree with.
Right. Well, it's total hypocrisy.
It's hypocrisy. put him. He's on trial. If he's going to be locked up, let a court and a jury do it. I don't think crowd should be shouting that. It's not a helpful contribution.
It's just funny that they come out. They don't even realize their own hypocrisy here, right? They come out and they start comparing him to Hitler. That's what you're doing, Mehdi. That's exactly what you were doing, and it's causing people to become violent. We've seen this time and time and time again. Then you got the Secret Service standing down outright. It's like they want something to happen. They want this to go through, and it's due to Democrat rhetoric. We don't have Republicans going out there and attempting to assassinate Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, Tim Walz, none of these people. We don't see that from the other side. We're not seeing it from the other side. We've seen some violence, sure, in the past, but we've seen more violence coming from the left. The summer of 2020 proves that outright. Proves that just outright. But this comparison to Hitler, because he said, oh, they're poisoning the blood of the country. Well, you got to put some context into that, right? And that's what these people do. They take it out of context. What he's saying, he's not saying the immigrants are poisoning the blood of the country. He's saying that the Democrats are poisoning the blood of the country.
We got a lot of work to do. You know, when they let, I think the real number is 15, 16 million people into our country. When they do that, we got a lot of work to do. They're poisoning the blood of our country. That's what they've done.
And he's not actually referring to poisoning the blood in the same way that Hitler was referring to poisoning the blood. He was talking about Germans mating with Jews, poisoning their blood. What he's talking about here, Trump specifically, is talking about Democrats poisoning the blood of the country by allowing millions of illegals to come across that border and just letting them roam free into the country, and there's criminals mixed in with all these people. That's the people that are poisoning the blood of the country. They're not mating with Americans by poisoning the blood. What they're doing, they're destroying the country. The actual blood of the country, metaphorically speaking. Hitler was talking specifically about blood. Trump is talking about the country, crime rates, these people being allowed in. They're coming in and they're disrupting communities. They're taking up resources, tax dollars, and all this other stuff. And then they're going to compare him to Hitler when the comparison is not even close to being apt, even on just the words, right? Sure, he said the same thing, but it was in a totally different context. But these people don't care about context. We know this time and time again. They love to use cheap fakes. Yeah, and that's a term they came up with, which is weird, right? But getting back to the point, I just don't understand that they can't see their own hypocrisy here. That, yes, comparing him to Hitler, right? There's a moral quandary there, right? Would you kill a baby Hitler? Justifying this violence coming from the left, essentially. Calling him an existential threat, using all these terms, threat to democracy. They love to use that, and they don't tone it back, and they refuse to tone it back, right? Mehdi himself said, yes, this leads to, this rhetoric leads to violence. So why not tone down the rhetoric a little bit? Oh, well, you're going to say Trump's rhetoric is bad? He just wants to clean up the country. Wants to get the illegals, people that's not supposed to be here, out of the country. But we're going to dig deep into that here in a second. Check this out, y'all.
You said Trump called for the ethnic cleansing of legal immigrants in the United States. No, he didn't.
Yes, he did.
No, he didn't.
What did he say?
He said he wanted to deport illegal immigrants.
No, he didn't, actually.
Yes, he did.
Piers, you're wrong.
That's what he said.
Again, anyone can play the tape after this interview. You're wrong. You should do better homework.
Ethnic cleansing is the forced expulsion,
I love your team.
Usually involving killing of members of a specific religious or ethnic group.
Hold on.
That's what ethnic cleansing
I really
is.
like your team. I deal with them a lot when I come in there. But you should talk to whoever did your research, because that's wrong. You know what he said? Go watch the clip. It's on tape. He said, we've got to get rid of them from Springfield.
Yeah.
Who are the people in Springfield? Haitians. They're not illegal immigrants.
So it's interesting, Springfield.
Hold on. No, don't jump around. You just got something wrong.
I'm going to mention Springfield. I didn't get it wrong.
No, you did. We could play the tape back. He said illegal immigrants. That's not true. He said Haitians should be... You've got to get rid of them.
You said, Mehdi, let me just go back
No, you said...
Hang on, let me clarify what you said.
Please clarify what you said.
You said his policy is calling for the ethnic
I didn't say
cleansing.
policy. It's a phrase on Twitter. If you're going to police my tweets, then fine.
Well, you said that Trump has called for the ethnic cleansing
Yes,
of legal immigrants.
the violent, forcible removal of legal immigrants, I think, is a form of ethnic cleansing.
That's not his position.
But
his position is that there should be mass deportation of illegal
Wrong. The clip is online. Everybody,
You're
I don't know what camera
conflating
to look
different
at.
things.
No, you are, because my tweet was over that clip. So anyone can go look, and you guys got it wrong. I looked at a clip of him saying, you got to get rid of them in Springfield.
Different story. Different thing.
But that's what I'm tweeting about, Piers. You don't get to
But that's not
misrepresent
what he's
my tweets.
talking about with the mass deportation.
Yes, he is. He was talking about Springfield.
No,
he said
wasn't.
Springfield.
No, he talked.
Have you watched the clip?
Yes, I've watched many clips.
No,
about all of
but
it.
the clip that my tweet is on.
Well, you're
you're wrong, Piers. I get it. You can back
So
down
you
and
think
say
he
you got
wants
it wrong.
ethnic cleansing of Haitians in Springfield?
What he wants, I don't try and get inside a madman's head.
You call that ethnic cleansing?
I'm not. If he tries to violently remove,
think he wants to kill them?
Can I finish a sentence? If he wants to violently remove legal immigrants from their homes, yeah, I think that's a form of ethnic cleansing. Yes, based on their ethnicity or identity, 100%.
Do you think it's right in Springfield?
Do you think it's right to call for the deportation
get
of
a
legal
word
immigrants?
in?
No, you cut me off.
It's actually, it is technically my show.
And you misrepresented my tweet, which you haven't corrected yet. My tweet was in reference to legal immigrants. You said illegal, so you should walk that back. You said it to all your viewers. That was wrong.
But you said that he effectively has a policy.
No, I said, no, Piers, don't misrepresent
Is it a policy?
I said, in this clip, he's calling for the ethnic cleansing. It's a quote above a clip. It's a quote tweet. You should check your tweets when you put them in your document.
Do you think that's what he's doing, though? Ethnically cleansing?
Yes, if he's calling for the deportation of legal immigrants based on their ethnicity, yes.
Do you think
he's called it a bloody operation? Are you okay with 14 million people being violently removed from their homes?
Are you?
4 million American children losing
let me
their
ask
parents?
you a question.
It's hilarious because he's like, let's be factual here. What did he actually say? And then he goes on to say it's ethnic cleansing. What? Like 2 points here. It's not ethnic cleansing. And the fact, like, I love how they get around this illegal migrant thing. Yeah, these people, they're not illegal migrants technically. And what do I mean by this? Okay, so Joe Biden flew these people in illegally. Joe Biden brought them here, plopped them down in Springfield. Yes, that's exactly what he did. Joe Biden did that, but he did it illegally. He wasn't supposed to do that. Yes, he did that wrong. So technically they're not illegal migrants because they were brought in by the freaking president of the United States. And Trump saying we've got to get rid of them. Yes, they're here illegally. Yes, they are, as a matter of fact, because Joe Biden broke the law bringing those people in. They weren't vetted. They were just plopped down in a city where they weren't wanted by the people of that city. Sure, the city managers, blah, 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 yeah. They want a virtue signal and say, yeah, bring in all your asylees and all this other stuff. Yeah, no, we can't do this. Second point. How do you go from we've got to get rid of them and mass deportations of illegals to violent deportations? Trump has never said to use violence to deport these people. Yeah, deportation is not violence. I'm sorry. There's no way to get around that. And he is just conflating all kinds of garbage here. He's just being quite insane, if you ask me. It's just ridiculous coming from these people. You want to get rid of these people. They're here illegally. Where's the violence with deportations? I would love to know this, right? Like, you get local police, and Trump has said this outright. He's wanting to get local police to go and find these people and say, look, you can't be in the country. If it gets violent from that point, right, there doesn't need to be violence. It's only going to be violent if the person that's not supposed to be here in the first place chooses to get violent. If they say, okay, I'm not supposed to be here, let's go, then there's no violence whatsoever. Now, do I think that there's going to be some violence? Sure, if those people choose to get violent. They're not supposed to be here, by the way, so we're just getting rid of people that's not supposed to be here. What is the problem with that? Joe Biden has allowed these people to pour across the country, destroying cities. And I love this whole thing, this thing about Springfield, and it's been debunked. They're not eating the pets. Yeah, that's not true, is it? We've proved that outright here on this channel, and I'll run that video right now.
Yo, what is this they got on the grill?
Is that the thing kills some cats?
Man, listen, man. There go a cat right there. His ass better get missing, man. Look like his homies on the grill, man. What the fuck?
Ask you a question.
It's outrageous.
Are you okay with the situation on the southern border with so many illegal people coming in illegally?
No, I'm not.
So presumably you're a legal migrant to America.
Yes, I am.
Right, so everyone has gone through the process like you.
But whether you're
Aren't they
legal or
entitled-
undocumented, you shouldn't be violently removed. And by the way, the southern border situation is a very complicated situation. It's been going on for years. Multiple presidents, multiple parties. There's no easy
But you would
fix.
concede under the Democrats it's been a fiasco.
No. Why
Come
would I
on.
concede that?
Really? The numbers in the last 3.5 years?
And they were really bad under George Bush, if we go back. I mean, it's
Who
a
was the
multi-part.
biggest-
It's a multi. To make this into a party thing is ridiculous. In fact, last time I came on your show, you tried to do a gotcha on me and said Obama was the deporter.
Yeah, he
in chief.
was.
So clearly, Democrats aren't bad. They're on your side. They're deporters.
On that, interesting,
You can't have it both ways.
Interesting you
Piers.
raise the Obama thing.
You
because
can't have it both ways, can you?
when Obama deported 3 million
Yeah.
migrants, presumably then was he ethnically cleansing them?
If they were undocumented, that's very different, isn't it? You're legally... Look, again, to go back to our discussion about Israel-Hamas.
So is ethnic cleansing
Hold on,
if Trump's doing
now
it?
who's cutting me off?
If-
Something can be
If
legal...
Trump's doing it, it's ethnic cleansing.
No.
If Obama's doing it, it's perfectly okay.
I'm well known for speaking a lot. I can say my own words. You don't need to put words in my mouth. I'm saying what I said earlier about Israel, you can do something that's legal, but I still think it's wrong. So what Obama did was legal, right? He didn't break any laws. He was entitled to deport, but I thought it was wrong, unwise, unhelpful, counterproductive, unfair. That's a different argument. What Trump would be doing is taking people who are here legally and suggesting that they get out. You know when they go after 14 million people, Piers, you're a very experienced journalist, you've covered many political issues around the world. There's no scenario in which the American bureaucracy goes house to house to look for 14 million people and doesn't end up getting innocent people, green card holders, legal immigrants, just people who look brown or have a Spanish name and getting them as well. You know this. It's going to be a disaster, Piers. So next time you talk to your pals, tell them not to do it.
On Springfield, do you think it's...
I think what happened in Springfield is outrageous. If you condemn the incitement of violence there by Trump. New Hitler. He shut down an entire town, 30 bomb threats.
Actually,
It's disgusting.
there weren't 30 bomb threats.
That's what
and it turned out
that's what the local authorities
all the
said.
bomb threats, all of them, came from what they now believe were bots and pranksters.
And-
all of them.
and-
nothing to do with Trump.
Nothing
or
to do with
JD
Trump.
Vance.
So why did it happen? Why did it happen straight
They
after
were
he spoke?
literally, the mayor has said, actually, it turned out these were not
You know what the mayor
inspired
said?
by Trump.
You know what the mayor
This
said?
was a,
He said Trump's words are harming us. That's what he said. He's harming our
I
community.
tell you what does harm
Why
me.
don't you condemn that, Piers?
Can I please ask you a question about
Please.
Springfield? I have condemned the ridiculous Haitian migrants reading Cats and...
These people's hypocrisy just knows no bounds whatsoever. Now he's trying to argue that the deportations under Obama, yeah, that's fine. That was legal. But what Trump's wanting to do with deportations is not, huh? And he keeps calling it violence. Well, if it's violence under Trump, then it was violence under Obama, and it should all be wrong and condemned. All of it. But no, they're conflating because it's Democrats doing it. Yeah, Democrats used to be sane. They used to realize that, hey, look, you bring a bunch of people into the country, they don't integrate into the country, you're going to have problems. You have to have things that melt into the pot if you want to have a melting pot, for crying out loud. You can't have foreign objects not melt into the pot. You're going to have an anaphylactic response there. I think that's the correct term. Sorry if I got that wrong, but you're going to have an autoimmune response. I think I've got that right that time. It's going to be bad. You're going to have problems with that. Sorry if I'm getting all this wrong, but, I'm not perfect. I do get things wrong, and people love to point that out down in the comment section when I do. Thank you for doing that, by the way. But, look, if it's good for the goose, it's good for the gander, right? What Trump is wanting to do, Joe Biden has allowed far too many people into the country. We need to get rid of some of these people and need to get back to some normalcy. Do we both agree that, yes, we need more border agents, we need more people to process applications for citizenship? Sure. Yes, we do. We need to stop the illegals from pouring across our border. And Joe Biden has just opened the freaking doors and allowed these people to come in. We've got to get rid of some of these people. There's just no other way around it. And what Trump's proposing, using the local PD to go and get rid of some of these people, that's a good idea. It's a very good idea, right? They want to start off by getting rid of the criminals. Do this outright. Immediately get rid of the criminals, people that commit crimes. It shouldn't be hard to prove you're a citizen. Should not be hard at all, right? And this idea that they're going to deport American citizens, green card holders, right? That's bogus. That's very bogus. They're fear-mongering with that. absolutely fear-mongering with that. If you have a green card, right, you have documentation to be here legally. You're not going to get deported. I'm sorry. There's just no way around that. These people are insane. But the insanity continues.
Kamala Harris deliberately misquotes him and tries to pretend that he said if he doesn't win there'll be a bloodbath. When everybody
he did say bloodbath.
When everybody knows he was specifically talking about a bloodbath in the automobile industry.
Well, he was.
Well,
I don't have time to get into all that. I don't agree with that. But just on your wider premise of Harris, even if I accept that she misquoted him, you and I both know there's normal politics where politicians lie, exaggerate, do hyperbole, do gotchas. We all know everyone does that. Democrats, Republicans, Labour, Conservative. You know that's not the same thing as a old man going on stage and screaming at the audience, they're eating your pet.
Yeah.
There's no comparison.
I agree.
There's no comparison. There's nothing like that from Harris, Biden, Starmer, Sunak, anyone.
But I also think it's far worse to say he...
What's really bad about that is he's right. There is no comparison. What Trump was saying was what people are saying online. They're eating the pets. We showed that video earlier. A cat on the grill, right? You can conclude that it's something else. But, you know, that's your own whatever conclusion. It looks like a cat. It looks like something that looks similar to a cat. It's not a chicken. That's for sure. That's what the corporate press and the mainstream news have tried to say. Oh, that's just a chicken. No, that's not a chicken. Could it be a fox? Sure. It is a four-legged animal. It's not a chicken. I'm sorry. Wings are not legs. They do not look like legs in any circumstance. That looks like a cat. It is the size and shape of a cat, not a chicken. I'm sorry, corporate press. You're wrong on this one. And Mehdi Hasan, you are absolutely wrong. Right? Bloodbath. Yes. Look at the freaking quote. That's what he's constantly saying. Yeah, go look at the quote. Look at my tweet. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, look at the freaking quote. He's talking about a bloodbath in the auto industry. That's clear. Here's the clip.
We're going to put a 100% tariff on every single car that comes across the line, and you're not going to be able to sell those cars. If I get elected, now if I don't get elected, it's going to be a bloodbath for the whole, that's going to be the least of it. It's going to be a bloodbath for the country. That'll be the least of it. But they're not going to sell those cars. They're building massive factories. A friend of mine, all he does is build car manufacturing plants. He's the biggest in the world. I mean, honestly, I joke about it. He can't walk across the street, and that way he's like Biden.
Yes, it's a bloodbath in the auto industry. That's what's going to happen. China is building these freaking factories down in Mexico to flood our country with cheap Chinese crap. That's what they're trying to do. As a matter of fact, some of those Chinese electric cars are pretty good. But they're going to put out of business American companies. It's going to be a disaster for our auto industry. Be an outright bloodbath for our auto industry. He's not talking about political violence. That's something the left loves to do. They'll take something Trump says and they'll flip it around, pull it out of context, set it with different context, and say, look, Trump's calling for political violence. No, he's not, Mehdi. Shut your mouth on this one. You're wrong. You're outright wrong. Piers doesn't do a very good job of debunking it. He doesn't push back enough on this because he's wrong. Play the freaking clip. Show it all in context. And then, if you're still trying to say that he's calling for political violence, you're just an insane leftist. That's all you are. You're just insane because you're prevented with facts and you're denying reality. That's what you're doing, Mehdi. You're denying reality. This whole debate was just nuts. I would suggest go watch it. It's on the Piers Morgan Uncensored channel. Go check it out, y'all. It's crazy. Mehdi Hasan, I do agree with him on a lot because the vast majority of that debate was talking about Israel-Palestine. I agree with him a lot on Israel-Palestine and Lebanon, Hezbollah, and all that. I agree a lot. I think Israel needs to calm the F down and chill the F out. And just chill. Just back off. Like, look, we've taken this too far. We're on the brink of World War III here. Right? I understand defending yourself, but it's gone well past defending yourself, just like in Ukraine. Ukraine has gone well past defending themselves when they invaded Russia. Hey, I do agree that's poetic justice. But, you know, you can't agree, you can't make the argument that they're just defending themselves against an aggressive Russia. You can't say that no more. I do think it's funny. When I saw that headline for the first time, Ukraine invades Kursk. Wow. I was laughing. I'm like, go Ukraine. That's great. But you can't call it just defending yourself anymore. They went on the offensive and invaded a foreign nation. And there's no argument around that, right? That's what Israel is doing. Outright, that's what they're doing. They're killing civilians with blatant disregard for human life. What needs to happen, they need to stop firing at each other, right? I love this argument that, you're just going to take a terrorist word for it, right? Mehdi makes the argument earlier in that debate that they just need to stop and then let's see what happens. Good idea. You know what? Israel has Iron Dome. They can stop 99% of all those rockets that are fired by Hezbollah and Hamas and all these places. They have a pretty good defense against those rockets fired. How about let's stop the fighting and see if they stick to their word. If they don't, make a proclamation to the world, at the UN, whatever you got to do to let the entire world know we're stopping the fighting. We're gonna pull out of these places. We're not gonna expand our territory. We're gonna do this. We're gonna comply with the will of the United Nations. Ceasefire. Just stop all forward progression of this war and just pause, right? Because Hezbollah, Hamas, Iran, all these places, the Houthi rebels, they've all said that they would stop the violence against Israel if Israel stopped the violence against them. So let's do this. Let's see if they stick to their word. Israel, stop what you're doing. Just defend yourself. Let's see if they stop. And let's see what happens. I can almost guarantee you that, Hamas, Hezbollah, the Houthi rebels, they don't know what else to do. They're going to continue their assault. And when they do, that would give you the impetus to absolutely destroy these places. And I would be right there with you. But once again, you got to do it humanely. You got to stop the civilian casualties. Just outright. I didn't want this to get into an Israel, Hamas, Hezbollah thing, but that's where the vast majority of that debate was. And I can't really argue against some of this. Violence should be condemned totally, outright. In all cases, on both sides. Everywhere. And we all need to do that. We need to speak on this more. We need to stop with the one-sided garbage. Like all these people that are just outright defending Israel, saying, they don't have the right to defend themselves? And they most certainly do. But they're not defending themselves anymore. They're not. They're killing a lot of civilians. And that needs to stop. That needs to stop. They need to eliminate Hamas. Get rid of Hamas, but not the civilians. Right? Those civilians, sure, they may have voted for Hamas to be in power. And I sympathize with that. Because if you vote for a terrorist organization to be your government, you shouldn't be surprised when you get terrorism. Right? Because that's what Israel is doing to these people, is terrorizing them. But you shouldn't be surprised in that. That's what you get when you vote for terrorist organizations. Sorry. Right? That's what they wanted. Who are we to come in and say that's bad or that's wrong? I'm just saying, they voted for that. That's what they want. I mean, seriously, voting for a terrorist organization to be your government, do you think there's not going to be some implications there? Some negative implications to yourself? I mean, let me know down in the comments. That's all I got for this one, y'all. I want to thank everybody for watching. Y'all try to have a good day. Stay legitical. Peace.